And hello, everybody. Welcome to my stream. I have emerged after a bit of busyness. I'm still relatively busy, but I'm here in the flesh, turning the big 3-0. Thanks, Mega Buckfish, for the birthday wishes. Well, technically tomorrow is my birthday, but you know, for the sake of the stream title, today is my celebration of my birthday, because I will be traveling tomorrow. I'll be going to a tournament up in Manhattan, Kansas. So if you're in the area, love to face off against you. And that's about a two-hour drive for me. So, but I can't think of a better way to spend my birthday. I hope everyone is doing well. I've been making some changes to the live stream. The road to cons is kind of a busy one, so I've just been here's like just a part of what I've been going through is just piles and piles of figures people need for various conventions coming up. So maybe I'll get to those. I don't know. It's a bit tedious, so it's sometimes nice to have a bit of bit of people to talk to while I paint the same thing multiple times. But yeah, I have these bears, the Ordo Borealis, that I've been meaning to paint for a bit, and let's dive right into it. I've actually already painted one, if I can find it. I painted that one a long time ago. I made the mistake of painting it and breaking everything I do. I'm painting it and then not doing the rest. So that's a pre-painted one. Ugh. So here's one I've already painted. Spent a long time on this one, so maybe I'll do the same amount of work on the others, but I'm happy with how it turned out. Other things I'm working on. I want to be painting for myself today. Usually I try to paint kind of linearly, but today I am just going to paint whatever pops in my head, and since I have a bit of the ADHD, it's going to be either one thing or 10 different things. So we'll see, and we'll have a good time regardless. And we are using ultramarine blue right here, just as a good base layer for the bespoke blue parts of this, and then we will be going to some brighter colors. Oh, it feels good to be live again on the channel. It's been a crazy couple weeks for sure. I have my backlog of things I want to edit has thoroughly piled up. I live kind of a crazy life. I have 3 kids under 6, and I work kind of like 2 jobs. So most of the free time comes back to here to Paintscape. So I would love to do more things and you know, I have a dozen video ideas I'm hoping to get around to. But, you know, I'm not paid. I'm doing this because I really enjoy the game and I enjoy the people that play the game. And it's at the end of the day all I really care about. Ultramarine blue is a really great, just solid, it's kind of like the true blue, so to speak. It's a great color to work with, and using army painters, we use pretty much a white undercoat because we don't want to spend hours layering up from black to white. You know, I got a lot of stuff to paint, so why make it harder on me? Decided what I'm running tomorrow for my tournament, so I have to build a 500-point all-time army. If the chat has any recommendations of what figure I should use and build an army around, I'd love to hear it. I'm always torn between trying something new and wacky or doing something kind of time and tested. I like to definitely pick off-meta things. That's my bread and butter. But I have been playing with the bugs, and the bugs are pretty fun to play with, so I might bring them again. Just make sure there's some water on your brush so that you are able to fully, keep it flowing off. And normally I paint a bit sloppier than this, but since we are layering up white, let's try to avoid getting on the fur, if at all possible. Of course, if you do get the fur, it's not the end of the world. You can just paint over it thinly. Just using a good size work brush here, just to fill this in. Alright, let's see here. Let's get the armor painted now. I recently invested in a vortex mixer, so you may hear that going off in the background. It is a great purchase if you're looking to paint. It's this right here, just you put your paint on it, and of course it's working out. It shakes it all up. I don't know how valid it is in the tournament, but I would love the Craft Magnet Agents plus into the Northern Wind combo. Interesting. I'm not a good craft player. Like, I know people who play those things really well. My dice rolls always betray me and I blank every time, and especially with the updated point cost. Is it updated in Renegade points? I'm not sure, but they always betray me. I'm more of a melee player. I do like the idea of pairing them with the Ninjas of the North Wind. It's a very My battery might be going out, which means I might have to go to plan B. We'll keep this on, but if it dies again, I might have to pause and do a new a new setup. I have backup, so I can charge my mics today. But I think we're on, unless it decides to turn off again. I don't even know what I was talking about. But yeah, the cards. Someone asked for a custom Cyprin, like a Hero Forge version of it that they designed, and I made a custom card for that. And I actually got into painting from like photo and graphic design. I kind of did a lot of that in college, and it kind of just transitioned to painting, like understanding layers and buildings with that kind of just is how I fell into it. I think it died again. Nope, there we go. There's always something going wrong. Hello, hello. There we go. I think we have sound back. Okay. Thank you all for your patience. Yeah, it's I thought I charged them, but I think my kids unplugged them at that point. Let me know if you can hear me now. If I sound good and have my velvety tones grace your ear. All right, get that going. We're gonna do some ash gray for this fur now. There it is. There I am. That's why I always have a backup on hand. I've done this long enough where I have come prepared. Now, when you paint white fur, the goal is to use as little white paint as possible. The best way to achieve white is to work with white adjacent colors, and then just use white as the final little eye-catching details. You'll kind of see, like, white is all just perception. It's perception based on contrast. So we are using this very light gray over white, and we're going to be building some color up from there. Give us a good mid-tone to work on our darks and our highlights. Because once you kind of go total black or total white, you don't have any room to work with. You've achieved either your maximum shadow or your maximum highlight. So it's going to be a bit of back and forth where we have this is white, you're like, oh, you did it, but there's no detail or texture or contrast, which is really what we're trying to achieve here. And we're just getting these little toesies here. Thank you all for being Sound Patrol. I did this one time where no one let me know, and I did like a whole hour stream where I didn't know my mic died, so glad that the VOD is saved. And I know I said I was trying to do the other parts before this. Well, that's because I got distracted and just started jumping onto the next part because I got excited. The best way to be the best painter is do what I say, not what I do, I think, is the best advice there. I break all my own rules constantly. Okay. Sometimes I put a little bit of color on just to kind of visualize it, so I kind of know where we're going. And these are Heroscape models, so I like using just pure metallics. I have been slowly working on doing non-metallics, but they just take a long time, and it doesn't match the original aesthetic. I'm not trying to impress anyone here. I'm just trying to get some minis painted on the board. And honestly speaking, true metallics, there's a lot of kind of shame on it in the painter community, but if you do it well, if you do it intentionally, it's actually more like an actual simulation of how metal works, where you have true highlights instead of kind of planned highlights. Of course, there is less room to kind of be creative with the art and the direction of it, so there's always a kind of trade-off either way. But escape models, for the most part, I usually do pure metallic. I did Tuck the other day with non-metallic just to kind of get like an old style. I wanted to do some lighting stuff. Do I have him nearby? I don't think so. Everything's all over the place. I got some new storage containers, so I've been rearranging my my collection, preparing to be mobile for ScapeCon, which I will be attending. So if you're at ScapeCon, definitely hope to see you there if you're attending. I will be teaching a paint class. I'll be teaching people how to paint Decker. if everything works out at ScapeCon. So kind of a master class there. I'm excited, really excited for that. And then I'll be at Gen Con as well. I wanted to go, so I don't know if I'll ever do both ever again, but this year I'm getting them out of the way. I've always wanted to go to Gen Con, and ScapeCon is just too much fun to ever miss again, honestly. I still have to plan my events out for Gen Con. I think I'm just going to be doing the championship route, try to get some of those cool prizes. Although there'll be some tough competition. I've been practicing. I've been trying to improve my win ratio a little bit, which just a little bit of dedicated focus, asking questions when you lose a game, really does go a long way in improving your accuracy. If you have time, there's people that stream online games, and you can learn a lot by how they play. A lot how they, if you care about the competitive stuff, you may just care about the art side or just the game itself. But I don't know. I'm tired of losing, so I'm learning key tips on how to win and some cool parts about army building. I think where you just have to gauge kind of a unit's worth in an army and you know what role it serves. Have a plan. But this channel isn't too much of a competitive one for sure. It's definitely more focused on the art and the hobby side of Heroscape. It'll probably remain that way. I'm definitely more confident talking about how to paint a bear than I am talking about how to win a game. Let's see, did I just get totally... There we go. How much in-person Heroscape have I gotten to play recently? In person. Thank you, Major Midnight, for the birthday wishes. Let's see here. I recently went up to Lincoln, the Lincoln Seasonal, with like Rye Guy, who was hosting it. That was about a 4-hour drive for me. So I've been kind of going the tournament circuit. I don't have many people near me who play as of now. Sometimes my brother-in-law will play some games with me, but he's more of a D&D guy. So sometimes he's in the mood to try out an army. He doesn't like the luck part of it too much. He's a very good strategist, so he doesn't like when dice betray him. But I don't have too much of a local scene. There's a couple Kansas City people that play that I meet up with. But a lot of online. The online has been filling in my desire for the game. It's not as fun, but it does kind of crave that itch, and it's a great way to practice without sitting at the game and the table and stuff like that. So a little bit. I've actually been doing more tournaments recently than just at casual at-home games, just for lack of one time and people willing to play. I got second place at the Lincoln Seasonal though. I was happy about that. It was called Pick Your Poison. It was pretty much like a 3-pod draft where you have someone eliminates one of your, I forget the official name for it, but someone has to eliminate one of your pods, and you're forced to play with the other two. So it's a really fun format. I like where you have a little bit of adaptability for each army when you play. Sometimes you play like a standard army and you know, you just didn't read the meta right, or you just picked some bad figures and you're just kind of stuck with them for 5 hours. Sometimes that stinks. Online play is a bit nicer for cost as well. congrats on second. Yeah, I plan on making a video about it because I think there's a lot of interesting. It's something when you wake up, drive 4 hours and play all day. You start making bad decisions on I had some openings. I forgot Arrow Gruts had disengaged. I thought it was only the Blade or the Heavy Gruts who was my opponent. So I went up, put myself into a bad position to lock them down. Then they just ran away. I was like, oh wait, I thought you were all stuck here. But then I order marker snipe their Krug, but I just couldn't do much because I only had Q11 left. Q11 performed really well at the tournament. He is a beast, but he doesn't feel like as unfair to play with compared to like Q9 or Q10. Like he's strong and he's good, but like not overwhelmingly so. So I'm happy with how he did. And then I had Q actually got second place and I was running Major X17 in that pod with Q11. One, just to say I could do it. I wanted to see how far, because I love X17 in terms of I think he's one of my top 5, not powers, but just units. Like he's cool. He's a cool looking unit. I wish he was a gladiator. Had the gladiator tag. But I love him and I try to include him in as many armies as I can. Even though he's not really good, but he was holding on to his glyph. He tanked 2 8 attacks from Krug, so he did what he needed to do. But probably could have used those points better elsewhere, like with the Exiles or something for a little bit of range support. And then I had Halucia and Anshu and Savaris as another pod. It was a 240 point pod, I think. And yeah, you're all sleeping on Halucia and Anshu. If you don't think they're that good, he has killer stats and something about being able to make 5 attacks in a turn with those two guys is pretty powerful. I'm really liking how he plays. And he doesn't even need trees to be good. I think I forgot he had his tree ability most of the time. And what was my last pod? Oh, the bugs. Just the Queenie and Queenie and all her underlings. Really, those guys do a lot. They're pretty good. I like good stats and lots of attack per turn. Sometimes you just gotta play certain armies just for style points. I tell ya, it's I play a lot of Smash Bros. So it's something just about trouncing. I'm currently trying to pick up Duck Hunt, and he is not a good character, but he's kind of fun. I probably should do a Smash Bros. Stream. I'm not like the best Smash Bros. Player, but I enjoy playing it. Kind of like Scape. But maybe I'll do a Smash Bros. Stream one time just to hang out. Do something different, because I do a lot of painting. Sometimes I'm like, I do a lot, too much painting. And Smash Bros is pretty much just Heroscape, right? Like same conceit. Anything can show up. What is this thing here? Oh, that's his part of his armor. I'm on a trip right now and no headphones to listen, but want to say happy birthday, Heroscaper. Hope it is a great one. Thank you so much, Tails. Yeah, I'm the big 3-0. I am ancient now. My bones rattle. What once was mud is now clay. The good news is I may be growing old, but I am not growing up anytime soon. I was telling my wife this. I was like, I'm 30 now. I'm not going to stop playing with my little toys and doing my... doing my little things here. I'm just gonna do it stronger now. I gotta hold off for my kids to be able to do all this stuff with me now. Prepare for the next generation. My kids all got into poison ivy this week. They found a bush underneath their deck. They all decided to play in it, so they are puffed up like nobody's business. So I haven't had a lot of sleep the last couple days. It was real bad. Let's get some paint on this guy. He's not getting any love. I think he's my favorite one. I think the last one I didn't have enough moisture in my paint. It started building up a little bit of texture, but it'll be okay. It'll look like some battle damage. Caught me monologuing. Yeah, I've been working on lots of little projects for people. Just sent Sir Heroscape some figures. If you've seen that stuff on his channel, I was happy to send some stuff his way. I had some really unique requests, like a Maro Thyraxis and Lava Thyraxis and some other things. So I was happy to. It's cool to send that to Sir Heroscape. You know, he's one of the big guys. You know, doing all this. You know, he's the one that. It sounds funny, but I'm almost scared to like talk to him sometimes. Not like he's a super cool dude. I'm just like, you know, kind of like he's the big guy doing all this. So it was cool to work with him a bit on that. And then I just finished some prize support for Escape Summit as well. I try to help the cons as much as I can, time permitting. So there'll be some. Is it Escape Summit or Hexacon? Which one is it? There's so many cons. Which one's the one in Utah? I think it's Escape Summit. Let me look up real fast here. I can't remember. This is one of those. Yeah, Escape Summit. I was right. Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was their whole faces puffed up. It was so pitiful. I feel so bad for them. But thankfully, they got the stuff they need to be okay. But yeah, if you go to Escape Summit, you'll see some donations from me sent there. So I got a Templar done and some minions. And I was doing a lot of work with decals, so I just kind of did it all at once. Yeah, but not. We finally figured it out, and well, we didn't know there was poison ivy underneath the deck, so there was a big kind of detective. Like, what is going on? Why are my kids puffed up like a water balloon here? And they're like, oh. Because we don't live like in the woods or anything like that. We live in town. They just kind of sometimes they'll just sprout out here from like a bird or something. we'll carry a. They're self. I learned a lot about poison ivy. They're self-pollinating. So you just need one seed or zygote or whatever, and it will just overtake your yard. So watch out for poison ivy, everybody. See, this is why we do the helmet first. I'm being a little bit sloppy and got some on the ears. You're going to get some on the ears, like just the way it's designed. Thank you all for helping me stay focused on this. Yeah, that's a rough way. Yeah, I'll tell you. I feel so bad for her. My daughter is 4 years old, and she was just I woke her up in the morning. Yeah, it's just so pitiful. And of course, her twin brother went into it too. So, fun days in my home. But they're doing better. The doctors gave them some stuff, so thankfully they are on the up and up. And thankfully I should be able to get some sleep tonight. So Not that I do much sleep anyways. I'm a bit of a insomniac. How many of the new bears have you painted up so far since they were released? Let's see here. So I have, this squad here. I have my version of Adelburn plus the one I sent, Heroscape. So I've done 2 plus another, the good version of Adelburn. Gave him some gold accents. And then, making me get up. Then I have, the Frost Claws, so I painted a squad of those. And when I'm bored, I'm gradually working my way through the making some alt color schemes for the Frost Claw. So I've painted a lot of bears. That is for sure. Sup, player? Not much. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, I have several tutorials for the bears filmed. I'm just like, I just don't want to do another bear video. I try to find something different for each one to do, highlighting a different one. Like, I'm going to make a tutorial on how to make good black fur. It's all filmed. I just have to focus enough to write that script. And then I have one I'm going to be making for these guys on how to do their lenses, make those look really cool. Let's add some. That alt coloring made a video a while back, was pretty sweet. Hope you get a chance to do another one. I have already started working on that. Let's see, do I have any nearby? That was a teaser. Well, here's my. I've been compiling ideas. Here's my Lorax. That will be in the video. Halusha based off the Lorax. And this is one I'm still developing for, but I'm making wolves of Badgeru that look like a Morgoloth, like a skull head. So it's definitely, I'm planning on making a sequel to it. I'm just trying to. There's just too much stuff to paint, and not enough time to do it. I tell you. Yeah, no, I am currently in my brain passively scripting that video. When I have some free time, I go through and kick up some alt designs. Because I don't want to just like do a different scheme. I try to like give it a reason or like a story behind it or some kind of reference to kind of have something more to talk about. There's some things that I have ideas for it that were suggested by other members of the community, so maybe I'll have them on talking about it and I'll paint it or something. I know Dog and Days gave me some cool ideas for it. Some knights in the color of Zoth. I'd love to have Dog and Days on the channel. I haven't officially asked him yet, so this is me just talking too much here. Yeah, sometimes when I'm busy, I just try to contact other scapers or other scape tubers and do something with them. I was like, I don't have time to edit, but I don't want to vanish from the earth. Also, I just think you're pretty cool, and never knew I needed Battle Hardened Lorax. He speaks for the trees. I mean, we are going pretty good with these guys. I'm liking where we're going on it. Let's get the straps on this guy here. These guys just have they're like really simple to do, but if you miss a part, you have to kind of go back and fill them in. Now let's see, what do I have to work on? I have the bears. Where's my blimp at? Working on the blimp. Maybe I'll do a bit of this if I get bored. Just doing the details on this. And finally finished. This is my 5th Thyrax. This 4th Thyrax's Dragoon I've painted. I think I finally figured it out for people. So I will be making a video on that pretty soon. To help people out, because I know that one's unpainted. I know that's probably the one people actually want. It's just, honestly, it's a complicated figure. So I'm trying to figure out the easiest way to do it that someone who's never painted before could do. So it's taking a bit of R&D to kind of get to that point. Oh yeah, thank you. It's actually inspired by the NGC Zedness bit they made. It's kind of a reference to that when I designed the colors. I like the teal a bit better than the green. I feel like the army green was a bit too modern, and I definitely kind of wanted to feel a little bit older, timeless almost. And then we're just doing some detail work. Making sure all our layers are nice. Let's see. I think they have... I gave them blue pants too. Okay. Just keep it simple. No need to add extra colors. If we want to get underneath there. I don't have my handle with me. I seem to have misplaced it, but it's definitely helpful to have a handle. It's hard to use a handle if you're painting squads, honestly. That's probably why I'm not using it, or I haven't bothered to look for it. Because you have to take it off. Unless you have a couple different handles on hand, then that's nice. Kind of move your brush side to side like that. And we're just doing the base coating. The base coating is like the longest part, but it's definitely the least interesting part. Once you start doing like the highlights and the shading, you really can do some. It's a lot more fun to look at. You get to see a lot more. So right now it doesn't look like I know how to paint. It looks like I'm just painting by number. But it's essential, establishes your foundation, and gives you a good point to work from. I could have done speed paints of these if I wanted to, but I'm honestly not the biggest fan of speed paints. I don't knock anyone. It's more of a personal usage. Like, I've seen some people do great things with speed paints. There's nothing against the medium itself. It's more just, it's hard to learn something new when you're so used to something. Ever since NGC came to stop, have you had any influx of their figures requested? I'm definitely looking forward to those Worms and Nightwalker. I haven't had too much. We were kind of, that's part of the reason why I think they decided to kind of close it down. Is there was waning interest with the new releases. So I think they served their role, and they did some really great work. And honestly, I'm kind of indebted to that group just for giving me the encouragement to use my skills and kind of develop it and figure things out. Why I kind of went more as Heroscape was in limbo and gave me something to do, you know, because there wasn't really an outlet besides like 3D prints and stuff like that for painting. So it really encouraged me to try new things out and learn new skills, and really I learned a lot just being there, forcing myself to kind of figure things out. That's like, I would say I know a lot about painting, but I love learning new things, and I'm always trying to explore my knowledge on it, my repertoire. But to answer your question, not too many requests. Um, but I'm happy to get some done. I have all the files in hand, so it was nice to be able to get those. Any chance of paint guides for advanced painters with things like wet blending or loading brush or even airbrushing? I've been considering it. I've been kind of wanting to do some more advanced stuff because I know largely Heroscape is designed. I try to keep it for beginners. Like I really try to keep it simple and easy. But I'm just looking at Zed Nesbit, and honestly, I'm not wanting to use that with I painted that so far with an airbrush with some minor brush work. I have some things earmarked. I'm wanting to kind of dive into some more broader, more helpful categories. Because I think it's also good for people to learn the basics, but also give them some avenues to grow beyond. Fia Bonnie, I'm really wanting to do an in-depth tutorial on layering and blending for her, just because she has so many unique fabrics and textures on her model. And so I'm looking to do some different things. I'm experimenting with some different formats. So to answer your question, yes, I'm not the best airbrusher. I'm still learning airbrushing. It's its own thing, but I want to do some kind of more generally helpful stuff besides just kind of basic painting tutorials. You know, what is priming? Let's do an in-depth look at priming. Let's go from some basic stuff as well as some more helpful stuff. How to batch paint. I have so many ideas. I've just been kind of in an editing funk, honestly, for a little bit, where it hasn't just been motivating for me. I think partly it's just because of the general busyness of the time. But I am wanting to release some more stuff. I have two hard drives full of footage I'm trying to sift through. So, but if that's something people are interested in, I would definitely love to talk, because sometimes honestly, like, some figures are harder to do without advanced stuff. Like for the Hellforge, when I made the Hellforge tutorial for Renegade, I was just wanted to talk about how, like, an airbrush is the best way to paint that model. Like, you can get it done so fast. But I just figured a lot of people wouldn't have airbrushes, so I made it harder on myself to talk about how to use brushes on it. Same for, like, Xenothrax. There's just some really big figures that even just using, like, a simple base coat, there's a lot of help there. Okay, what do we want to do next here? Let's fill in some. Do I know how to do fades with airbrush? I've done some research. I don't have the practical practice yet. Let's see. Yeah, not too much, honestly. I'm still learning my airbrush. Like, I've had it for a little bit now. I mainly have just used it for for base coating and priming. So I'm trying to actually work on the artistic and effect side of it on my own personal time. So I'm almost there. I haven't had time to practice it, but I've studied it a bit. So I understand theory, but not practice, if that makes sense. Sometimes when I don't post anything for a while, it's honestly me just kind of working on a bunch of different new techniques or doing my own personal practice on my own. That's where I'm just making lots of mistakes and figuring things out. People have expressed that they've wanted to see some stuff like that, and I think it's more of a personal thing where it's hard for me to have people watch me fail, but I think that's just a bit of humbleness I have to accept and work into it, because I think it's helpful seeing people figure out the process and understand kind of how to get from point A to point B. Next Level Painting. He's on YouTube and is a master with airbrush. I will definitely have to look into that. I actually sometimes I call it like having evaporated milk poured into milk. Sometimes I like to double dip. You know, you do your practice painting, and then you have painting videos in the background while you're painting, just to really absorb as much as you can. Whenever you get a chance to play in real life, do you like to stick with traditional paint schemes for your army, or do you bring out some flashy figures? Okay, so... Oh, and feel free to ask all the questions you can. It gives me something to talk about. I've run out of all my pre-planned subjects, so this definitely helps. Do you like sticking with traditional paint schemes for your armies, or do you bring out some flashy figures? So, to be honest, I like to bring out, if I'm going to a tournament, I'm bringing out the best painted models I can, or if I'm going to lose, I'm going to lose with style. Is my is my mentality. So I like to just show up and have some hopefully I can distract them with the paint job or the design of it enough so I can get an advantage. Like someone would feel bad about killing the unit because it's so cool looking is my plan. But I kind of am like, it's tough because it's just some of the figures are kind of pricey. So I do try to paint them like the original color scheme as much as possible, mainly for tutorial purposes. But then that means I have to either find or invest in some more for my own personal weird schemes I plan on doing to them. Like that orange that Halorax was actually a pre-painted one I had picked up, and then I said, I don't want to buy another box, but I really like this idea, so I got him done. I think he's what got me second place in that tournament, because I have like a standard one that's actually I think is a little bit nicer painted, but I like the concept of because I did kind of this just the night before the tournament. I think this one's a better paint job, but this one's a more interesting paint job. So I ran this guy. But I brought them both, just depending on the vibes. Like, maybe it's just I wanted to... It depends on how I want to play. Okay. I think we're about ready to start working on this fur here. Once I get all my little spots I missed all finished up. Smooth out this area. Hello all, welcome Bill Flint to the stream. Hope you're all doing well today. Painting some frost claws up. Some actually not frost claws, some Ordo Borealis. Some big polar bears with harpoon guns. Yeah, this underside right here is a bit tricky. Definitely want to make sure you hit that pretty well. What is preferred, spray or paint, or what is preferred, spray or paint on primer? Airbrush is preferred for me out of those options. But I think paint on primer is better, but I don't like doing it. Just because I am naturally impatient, and every moment I'm putting just a layer of the figure is a minute I could be doing something else. I also just really paint high volumes of stuff, so I have to kind of work for optimization sometimes. But that's why I invest in the airbrush for that, because I do live in a in a humid area, and there's lots of room for. There's a lot more room for errors with a spray paint compared to just brush on. I know people really like recommending the Rust-Oleum and like the Krylon and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm a little bit snooty when it comes to primers, and I know people say they work just as good. I use those for like terrain when I paint terrain and like big projects, but I've just had bad luck with them. I think it's just they're so finicky if you don't shake them up enough, or if you don't, the weather's too wrong, they just will mess up. I've had better luck with like nicer primers, where I think you have a bit more grace with them. I really like I'm kind of a pro acrylic fanboy, so I will always be recommending their stuff. But I really like their rattle cans. Recently, I've been using those, and those are pretty nice. I also like Vallejo rattle cans as well. I've been pretty impressed with those. I've heard Citadel are pretty good too, but I just generally don't like Citadel things so much, so I don't use them. Yeah, a rattle can. Oh yeah. They're still in development here. They have some Turbo Dork, so they have a bit of a color shift on them, depending on how you move the light. But I decided to be kind of lazy and just paint some orange over the color, but now it's kind of like a greenish orange because orange is naturally a thin color. So I'm going to have to apply several thin layers to bring that back up. There's definitely room to buff this up, but I don't know if I'm motivated to finish it out. Too many teeth for me. It's a cool model, but just too many teeth. Also, my model had like some print defects. Like, this is just completely flat. I had to like sketch out the teeth from like the ground up. So it's thank you. It's a work in progress. The bugs are my favorite units to play, but probably my least favorite units to paint, if we're being if we are being perfectly candid here. Just too many teeth, too many legs. But really fun to play. Love the units. Spray pancake rattle can. Yeah, rattle can. If you're outside of US, the Color Forge makes the Monument rattle cans. Yeah, they are. They're pretty good. I like them. I like their white a lot. It's a very thin. It's a really good white for like Zenithal if you don't have an airbrush. I kind of just got some to try it out. Definitely recommend. But it's so thin that if you kind of like have something with a darker color, you do have to do a couple passes on it. But it's nice and smooth. Okay, let's see here. And thanks for everyone in the chat just talking. It's making my day. I love having people around. As a Color Forge makes some Monument replicants. Got a little part with Miss here, just doing some touch-ups. Get everything all where it needs to go. I used to have a magnifying glass I would look through to kind of make sure things are lined up a bit better, but my my kids actually snapped that in half, so I have yet to buy a new one. Good old hobo wipe. There we go. Oh, we got this right here. Just kind of going back and forth on these. I swear I'm paying attention, not not focus entirely on talking. Alright. Just when you think you're finished, you look around, you're like, oh wait, I missed like half this model. Music died, let's bring that back on. And let's see here. It's the fun part of going live is things just happen. And music died. Let's loop it. There you go. So all the paint jobs you did for Sir Heroscape, and thought they looked really awesome. Well, thank you. I put a lot of love and nervous energy into those things. I was because Sir Heroscape is the guy who'll open up, and if it doesn't look good, he'll be like, "Hey, this needs to have some corrections here." So thank you for that. Like, I admire his boldness for calling out some of the initial errors and things that need to be addressed when the trees came out and stuff like that. First off, I don't think I would even notice that. But I'm glad he noticed and called it out. Yeah, lots of dragoons painted. I'm surprised I actually haven't gotten more to paint. I'm kind of trying to hold off on commissions just to get through my pile and my own personal stuff. I had some Legion I was going to paint for May the 4th, but I just never got around to it. I don't play it, I just like Star Wars. I like the miniatures, so I have a whole thing of Mandalorians I'm just getting through. Just finished Andor Season 2, which, regardless of how you feel about Star Wars, I definitely recommend watching it. Just because it's very cinematic, it's very beautiful. It's very slow and meticulous, but I do love it. Anyone going to Gen Con 25? I will be there. I will be there with... Actually, I'm doing an Airbnb with Hexhala and Tales of Valhalla. We'll be doing like a little content creation Airbnb type deal, so I'm excited about that. I've never been, so I don't really know what to expect or what to bring or what to do, but I've always wanted to go. Yeah, trees bummed me out a bit once I got the new Scape, but they're still manageable. Yeah, I think they're not the end of the world. I'm glad the Renegade decided to go through and fix them and stuff like that. I just bought a bunch of the sets, regardless. You know, I have I have this bred instinct in me now where I'm just afraid of this going away, so I just try to have some on. Probably buy a little bit too much, honestly. Alright, so we are using this gray here for the fur. Nice solid layer. Because not a day passes where I think I was at Walmart and I saw dwarves on sale for $6. And I didn't buy them because I already had a package. Because I didn't know that you needed more than one at the time. Instead, I bought the vampire package, which definitely has not equated to value.
I like the cardboard. I get why they do the cardboard boxes nowadays, but I do miss those clear booster packs with just a bunch of random figures. Like that was pretty fun. There was so much like variety in it. I I get like modern day why you have to kind of package some figures together and um, kind of work it that way. But I liked having a cowboy and an angel that looks like Adam Driver and and you know, just a wide variety of things inside a single package, and they get better showcased kind of what Scape was going for. But I think these new boxes are better for actually like, playing the game, because out of every one of those, especially the hero sets, you just had some stinkers that just didn't get used too much. Okay. Just work adding some ash gray to this fur here. And just filling in. You want to definitely go around and make sure you double check everywhere, because there are some spots that just have very slight areas peeking through. Especially the underarms, and like this little tufts where the armor meets. I love painting these things more than the Frost Claws. I think the Frost Claws have some awkward sculpts to them, which is kind of where it's really hard to get to the arms in some areas. I like that these things have like little eye plates and some visual details that kind of break up what you have on there. Speaking of stickers, I'm going to need your finest current stickers for my collection, good sir. Of course, I got you covered in the in the order. I think we're running through our initial stock. I'm looking to get some new printed for cons coming up, but currently stickers we have in rotation now. This is a custom art my sister drew for me, featuring the two Raylands. So I really love this one. I try to give this out to people just because I think it's really cool. So that's hand drawn right there. We have Dund, the greatest character ever. This is also one my sister, I commissioned her to draw for me, is Krug Life. I mean, that's pretty, pretty great. Do I have any others? I think that's all. I have a few Gymnastic Park stickers remaining too. All these are handmade designs. So I do try to... like I said, I came into this from some graphic design, so I sometimes use my skills for good instead of evil. I haven't made this one to a sticker yet, but this is actual Sir Hawthorne's logo I designed, and scanned it off Sir Hawthorne, and then I digitally recreated, hand drew a lot of that. Have you ever used Heroscape command cards option? Ever use a Heroscape command cards option? I'm not sure what that's referring to, honestly. Command cards. Oh yeah, my sister is definitely quite skilled. She did the art for my last video I made, the top 10 classic designs. She's a good friend of mine. Actually, she played a lot of Heroscape with me growing up. She has a baby now, so she doesn't want to play anymore. But I guess the trade-off for making me an uncle is fine. Yeah, I'll tell her you said that. I'll definitely make her day. She actually teaches like art classes and stuff like that. So something in our bloodline where we feel the need to create things. We can't just sit still. All right, what do we want to do next here? We're gonna mix a bit of this, that, create a warmer gray that we're going to transition to. You would play cards instead of order markers. I'll have to look into it. Is that like on Heroscapers where it's referenced or something? It sounds unique. But I've never heard of that. This is ancient stone. We're transitioning here. And we were just bringing out some of these highlights we want to see here. Is it essentially like you lay down the cards you want to play each round, or you don't use order mark? Like, let's see, I have to look this up real fast. Command. Oh, there you go. I think I found the thread. Let's see here. Play a command card from your hand. Oh, so it's like a deck of cards that you have in your hand. You draw, and that's kind of like your. It turns into a bit of like a card game. That's pretty cool. That's a cool concept. If I'm getting that right. I thought you had like all your cards, like your army cards in your hand, and then you would like play which one. But actually have like a deck full of actions. This is a pretty cool concept. I think there's definitely some room to explore with it. I played with another YouTuber, Blast Shark, who lives in the area for a bit, and they developed a whole like turned Heroscape into like a war game, which was really cool. Like where you have like your heroes have more life, and you have morale, and it definitely played more like like Citadel or 40K or stuff like that, where you have to constantly be tracking of your army as a whole unit compared to individual squads and the like. It was really fun. So I'm always looking forward to new ways to play. Now we're just bringing in some highlights for this. It is I, Skateboard. Hello, everyone. Hello, Skateboard. Welcome to the channel and to the chat. It is my utmost pleasure to have you here today. Hope you're doing well. And we are using a stippling motion to kind of blend these colors in. Kind of creating some texture. Use a little bit of dry brushing in hard to reach spots. So right now this appears white, but we haven't really used white and even the fur besides the priming undercoat. So I've talked about this a little bit in the Frostclaw video, but you definitely want to hold off on white for as long as possible. You, of course, there are other ways to paint white fur if you're not looking to be as tedious with this as I currently am. You could just prime it white and use like a gray wash or thin down speed paint, and you get a pretty good white coat after that, especially if you dry brush white afterwards. Which if I did the other bear like that, I probably I probably would do that. Skateboard's the custom master. Okay, we're getting there. Let's see, I want to go now to a very bright gray. We're kind of switching between cool and warm to kind of give some diversity to the coat. And now we're going to this cool bright gray. I'm going to go to more of a detail brush. I'm probably going to do a bit more touch-ups on this after stream, but kind of get the basic idea. Use a finer tip brush. I'm just picking out these individual hairs now. Any tips to making white look like white, not the chalky? Sometimes someone said to use gray first and start from there. Yeah, that's actually what we're doing now. We haven't used any white on our palette. So we've worked with kind of a neutral gray, then we used a bit of a light tan, and now we're using light gray, and we're slowly just building up these colors to get the appearance of white. And white is the kind of final frontier. You want to use white as little as possible, because even the best white paint is just, you either have to be very patient with it, or it kind of comes out chalky and blocky. I also recommend priming white if at all possible if you're working with white. It just saves you a lot of time. It doesn't run the risk of you getting impatient and putting your layers on too thick to get it done, which is the easiest way to get it chalky. And actually, I remember Heroscape showing off a few of his customs on another stream, Skateboard and Heroscape collab. I'm down. I've been meaning to send Skateboard some customs I've designed. I have a whole folder of customs I've designed throughout the years. I've never really shown anyone just because I've never bothered it. That'd be a fun video to go through and talk about some of those, or have someone with me rank them, whether they're good or bad. But I love talking to other skatebers, and Skateboard is cool. So I've talked to them on Tail stream sometimes. I like Skateboard's America Exiles that I saw with Hexala. So which that's if anyone's seen the Hexala video where I collabed, I definitely got villainized in the end. Why am I dabbing the paint? I'm currently dabbing the paint to kind of create some natural texture. It's called stippling, and I'm kind of blending in these colors a bit more. So instead of using full brushes, I'm actually trying to create a bit of texture for a naturalistic blend. So when you kind of look at it, the camera isn't doing it justice, but when you kind of look at it, you get a bit of tone shift without the it softens the layers between them. Right now we're kind of just blocking out. We're definitely going to have to strengthen these shadows a bit, I think. I don't think I went dark enough on the gray. But with some glazes, we could definitely bring this down really nice. Or maybe gray wash. I'm still deciding what I want to do with that. Let's see here. Okay, so I'm gonna let this sit. I'm thinking on this in my head where I want to go with this. We have a good base layer with a little bit of contrast to kind of decide where we want to go. I think this white neutral gray is a bit darker, so I'm going to get an even lighter gray. Or just make some white with this. I'd say is probably the best bet. Oh, of course. You're totally welcome. Just some Vallejo white right there. And we're going to thin this down. Just start bringing some extra highlights. Try to do this without a dry brush, just because I don't want to hit it on the paint we did. Honestly, I probably should have painted the white first in retrospect and dry brush for something easier. But maybe I'll bring out the small one and buff up some details. White's a very delicate color, so you gotta kind of baby it a bit. Using the edge of brush, kind of hitting that bottom lip just to make it seem a bit more exciting. Catch the eye a bit better. Yeah, my live videos definitely are not as as tight as my tutorials. I cut a lot of stuff out from the tutorials to make it flow a bit better. This one, you get to see me definitely kind of figure things out in real time. Like, do I like this? Do I want to throw this away and start over completely? That's the inner monologue you hear the entire time. I love Pro Acryl, but they are a little bit sneaky where they come on very bright and powerful, but then they get kind of dulled down. So you always have to kind of go back and brighten them back up, just because they're never as strong as when you first apply them. But they have great coverage. And good flow. And we're just kind of gradually building these colors up here to give it a bit of shadow on the face area beneath the helmet. I'm gonna be maybe a bit lazy and add some gray wash to this. Just because I don't think I made that as dark as I want it to be. I could also glaze some darker color, but let's see here. Let's add a wash just because I have it. Oh, and also it can be an excuse to stretch my back. So I like using gray wash for my bears. This is Citadel, a rare showing from them here. And I'm not a big fan of pots, but there we go. This fur isn't as like sharp and separated as I would like it to be, so it's hard to. It takes a lot of extra work just to highlight the individual pieces. Are there any Heroscape figures, original or VC, that you enjoyed having to paint? Oh, so many. Let's see. Let's go through the list in my head. So VC figures, at least when you print them, some of them are a little rough to paint, just because they're scanned off models that aren't very good to begin with. So some of the HeroClix ones are just not fun to paint at all. They're just no details. I used to hate painting Death Knights, but then someone released a updated file. Now they're really fun to paint. Just because like the whole face is a blah. What is my least favorite unit to paint? So Templar are really satisfying to paint, but they take a really long time just because it's layering a lot of white, and you have to do decals for them. I really don't like painting the Thyraxis at all. It's just a kind of a weird model. And it's too boring, complicated, etc. Pretty much anything that is just I don't like painting a lot of the same squad. Like I can paint really anything, but when it's like I have to paint like 5 squads of them, I just get kind of bored. I'd rather do one unit really good, spend the same amount of time on one good unit compared to, getting. Currently, I'm working through 10 squads of gladiators, and I'm losing morale on them. All right, so I just kind of put this here so we can kind of see how just a simple gray wash adds a bit of dynamic texture to this. It gives us a little bit of a darker tone because I wasn't liking where we were going. It was just kind of getting kind of muddy. I don't think I made the initial dark layer dark enough. That was on me. I thought it was darker than it was. So I kind of toned this down a bit. This gave me a bit of room to work with. Now I have a bit more separation on this, and that initial layer we did allows us to kind of build up these highlights a bit better. That's why I was kind of being kind of facetious with it. So I'll kind of leave that there and let that dry a bit, and then we'll do some highlights on this guy here, on the other parts. The exiles, are pretty unfun to paint, but I've painted them enough that I've gotten some. I like the exiles more than the knaves. The knaves are not that fun. Without an airbrush, the Iron Lich is a pain to paint, just because of all the yellow. Let's see, if I had someone said, "Will you paint this for me? What is the least favorite one to paint?" You know what? I have to say Fourth Mass, because people want a lot of them, and there's so many kind of. It's hard to know where the lines go, and I don't know. I just don't like painting Fourth Mass, and it's like 4 figures a squad. So someone's like, "Hey, I want usually they want like four, four squads of fourth mass, and hope you paint the bear targeting eye green, the normal red. You know what? For you, I will. I'll paint one. I'll paint one each different color. I'll paint one green, red, and maybe I'll think about the last color, purple or something. Yes, and I have painted a custom Shiori. I try to emphasize more the kind of spectral elements of it here. So, kind of gave it a fluorescent glow effect real fast, and I don't know how well the focus, but kind of updated Shiori's just color. Gave her some highlights and a little bit of OSL lighting from her phantoms. Green to represent night vision. Ooh, I like it. I was thinking Christmas for some reason. Let me just bump into my camera real fast here. Okay, so let's get some highlights on his blue parts here, just because I kind of want to. We got the Jandar blue. You know, I'm just kind of excited to use that. Having an official paint with Jandar on it is kind of cool. It's the main reason I got it, because I had most of those paints before. I bought it just because I figured people have questions about them, and it was on sale. So we're gonna take a little bit of that ultramarine blue and just kind of create a blend for it. And I'm just going to kind of block out where I want these lights to go. We're using it kind of thin down and just kind of probably a little bit more. There we go. And we're just kind of blocking out where the light is hitting. For the most part, when blocking out lighting, you just want to think about it logically. Less is always more. I think the light's coming down, kind of have an idea where the light's coming down, and then focus on which areas you want to highlight more. Typically, you want to do, you know, the outermost or innermost parts of things. So the edges, as well as kind of the kind of inner part where light would catch. This is where the actual art process comes into it. So you can take things and do a lot with lighting and highlight, and do something simple. It's entirely up to you. Usually don't almost dropped it on my palette, which would have been terrible. It has happened before. It's a sad day. See, like here, realistically the light would catch right on these seams, whereas here there's not too much light, but I just want to add a little bit of tension to it. So I'm just going to use dabbing motion to create a bit of texture, because we're also adding light, but we're also trying to add a sense of texture and depth as well. Now we're going to go through, thinly apply just that pure Jandar blue. Get sure it's thinned down properly. Color scheme reminds me of the Jandar Soulbore colors. That's kind of what I'm going for. I'm trying to kind of keep it in line. I've recently been working on. Someone mentioned my other alt schemes. Here's some Zedian Soulbores I'm working on. So I think I have that still in my mind here. Definitely want to be careful to avoid your white. possible. And I'm just bringing out little details on this thing. Imagine all of your cremations are painful. Has there been anything fun you've had to paint recently? I mean, I enjoy the process. So most of the things I paint are fun. I like when people send me the new stuff and have a creative idea for it. Or when they kind of give me a cool concept. Like, honestly, let's see if I can find it here without ruining everything. Honestly, your pitch for the Malatrix was really fun to figure out. Like, it was just a chance. You wanted blue scarab, so he kind of just gave me a chance to test some cool things out. That was actually made with inks and metallics. So that was a fun one to do. How often do I give myself painting time during the week? Let's say I probably paint about 2 hours every day. At minimum. I have a bit of insomnia. So I usually paint from when the kids go to bed, which is around 8:30, to when I go to sleep, or when I can't paint anymore, or when I want to go play Pokemon. So to about either 10:30 or 12:30 or 2:30, depending on when I get tired. I definitely paint at least one figure a day at this point of my life. So I paint a lot. And then back to bears. Noise. Once again, it's actually happy birthday. I should have made that my title. I think I'm funny. So yeah, I do a lot of painting. It's, above all else, the key to learning to paint is consistency. You know, and also studying and being willing to make mistakes. I still have much to learn in my painting journey. I wouldn't say I'm a master. You know, there's some other painters out there who are absolutely incredible. In painting, like any other art form, you know, you just have your days where you're just not feeling it. You know, it's just a bad piece of work, and you're like, I know how to paint better than this. But it's just a lot of good painting is tied to your emotional state, your mental state, your focus, and how much you enjoy it. So thankfully, I enjoy it. You know. Holy moly, I'm jealous. Yeah, it's a little consuming. I've been forced to give myself breaks. I get a little hyper focused on things, but I enjoy it. It really, I have a crazy life with lots of crazy kids. So this is how I wind down at the end of the day, and this is how I relax. Everyone has their own thing. I'm grateful to be able to do something that I enjoy and I can help other people with, and you know, it's never a burden. I'm liking how this light is going here. We're just slowly building up these layers and this texture here. Alright, so for this eye, we're gonna do a big white blob there. I mean, a smooth white blob to fill it in. Let's get some brown on this too. How do I avoid any backaches when you paint? I haven't found the answer to that yet. I kind of just have frequent stretches. Honestly, that's sometimes when I don't stream as much. I kind of have things kind of the way I'm able to paint so much in my busy life is I kind of have things running concurrently. So I paint a layer, then I get up and do something, and then I come back, and then paint a layer, and come back and do something. So I'm always kind of moving, and days where I do have long painting sessions, I just get I don't have an answer to it. I probably should look more into that. Good seating is part of it, but you're bent over, hunched over something for the most part of the time. This is just kind of, I haven't found the answer to that, so I'm sorry. Bad habit I picked up is putting the brush in my mouth, which you probably shouldn't do. I kind of do. I'm just thinking where I want to take my little bear friend here. No, it's just part of the hobby. You know, you can find someone who paints a lot because their back is shaped like a C. Let's blend this in a bit better here. So we're changing some of that darker tone, very thin down. And we're just kind of some areas where I went too ambitious on the highlights. I'm gonna kind of tone those down a bit. Very thinly kind of mix them. So we take kind of this thin paint, and this is called feathering onto our highlights of that darker color, pretty much blending these colors to make them a bit smoother, not as sharp. Alright, what's a good... Do I want to be lazy with this eye, or do I want to be... I kind of want to be lazy with the eye, if I'm... I'm being honest here. Alright, so we're going to get some fluorescents. Fluorescents are highly pigmented and vibrant paint. They're really, I've been working a lot with them. They're really fun to use. They are naturally very thin, so when you use them, they kind of act like a intermediary glaze of sorts. And this is a really almost cheap way to get glowing lenses and glowing effects. If you don't want to do the traditional lenticular structure where you put a dark layer on and blend it, you just put it over white. And you can, since it's so thin, you put a couple layers over it and just kind of avoid the center. Really easy lens. And then you can go in and add like a green wash to that to make it a bit darker. We'll be working on that a bit more. But we'll let that dry. Let's add another layer of highlights to our bear here. If I can find the color I want to use. Or I could just mix it if I'm not lazy. Let's take a bit of this white and a bit of this crystal blue. Just brighten that up a bit. Oh, that buzzing sound. So this is what's called a vortex mixer. So when you're painting, this is a you just put it on here, and instead of shaking your paints haphazardly, it does it great for you if you have some mixing bowls in there. So it's really great. This is probably one of the best tools you can get as a painter. It is just a paint. Oftentimes, if you find your paint kind of composition just lacking, it's because it's not mixed well enough. And every paint needs to be mixed according, differently. Some more than others. Army painter traditionally has needed to be mixed a whole lot to get those pigments in. And I love that Flanix color scheme. Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm working on this. I don't know if I'll get to this today, but it's in development. I'm I'm motivated by the teeth to continue. Yeah, I was kind of going for like a June bug fly. I was just looking for some kind of weird, gross colors to kind of make it unique, make it something that kind of pops on the battlefield. But yeah, it's maybe I'll hit a couple more layers on that. Depends on how I feel about these bears. What time is it now? It's 10:30. Let's keep on going for a little bit more. I do the painting on for Renegade, but they like to keep the streams around 1 hour, which is really tough to showcase the process of this. I never really get to the layering of the fun stuff. So now we're just doing some final bright highlights. When you get to your brightest highlight, you definitely want to use it as sparingly as possible. Less is more. We're just adding a bit of texture, a bit of detail that will probably blend down, kind of using that feathery motion we shown before. And we're trying to catch just some of the edges of things where the light realistically would be the brightest. Just making it look a bit more worn and used. Again, I'm kind of using that dabbing motion just to create a bit of stippling texture. See here, I went a little too bright. I'll have to tone that down. Let's add in some scuffs and some highlights. Next 2 weeks, writing a script right now? Yeah, let's go, Joe. And once you kind of get to this point, this is kind of like a never-ending... You have to decide where you want to end at. Otherwise, you could just be working on highlights and blending forever. Forward to it, Joe Crazy, like a lot of your DUIs. Not DUIs, DIYs. And we're just taking that darkest color and just kind of blending again. For some areas we were a little too ambitious with that brightness. Maybe a little bit of the midtone as well. Yeah, we like Joe Crazy in this house. Now he's finally married. We can see more of him again. And this is kind of just a back and forth process, just seeing how much I want to add and how much I want to take away. And let's get a little bit of ink on this thing. I've been messing around with ink, so I'm still learning, but I have some inks if I could find it. I tell you, I have no system. I'll find it later. It'll pop up when I don't want to find it. So I just want to blend this in a bit more. Alright, let's do a little bit more sketching on this to see how far we can take this. Favorite pastime while changing diapers, listening to intricate Heroscape painting advice. Same. I love just no, it's I've listened to, that's part of the reason how I learned to paint. Honestly, when I had twins during the pandemic, so I was up a lot. I kind of had this interest, so I was just watching paint videos while I do those midnight feedings or changes or whatever. Okay, so now I'm just gonna see how far I want to take this here. So I'm just kind of going really bright and just kind of see if I want to go really bright and then tone it down. Trying to catch these edges here. Like a good old diaper change, rest your eyes in between fingers. Yeah. And let's create a little bit of a glaze here. The different tone. Alright, so I'm going to get some of this blue-black here, very dark. And we're going to kind of blend and darken this down a bit here. And then we're going to use some glaze medium. We of course can use water for this, but I find that for Pro Acryl, it helps it kind of maintain a bit of its structure. Twins in the pandemic, that must have been a fun time. It still is. It's never stopped. Yeah, no, they were born in the midst of it all, so I couldn't even have anyone else in the delivery area helping us out afterwards. Yeah, it was tough. Like the grandparents could even see the kids for a long time, and so you either picked up a hobby or you had to do something during that time. So now we're taking this, and that glaze medium is allowing us to kind of blend this onto this, because I felt like our highlights were overpowering our dark tones. So I'm trying to do this is more of a personal thing, just at least this part without wash, which a wash would be fine, but I'm really trying to practice on my blending and my other techniques here. And once I use a wash, I kind of am stuck until it dries, so I'm trying to do different methods. Why do spring-loaded harpoons shoot further than black powder bullets? These are the questions. Why does a Shaolin monk with no weapons do more damage than orc on a T-Rex? The answer is they punch really hard, and these I got some on there. These springs are really wound up. Or in the words of Harrison Ford, it's not that kind of movie, kid. Bear magic. There you go, abrare cadabrare. And, my legendary paint thumb is something people talk about a lot. I do it just to test the consistency of my paints and kind of know what I'm getting into beforehand. And also, I like seeing what my colors I have on hand at all times. You could, of course, do this on a napkin. This is just an odd painting quirk I have. I need to thin this down just a bit. There we go. See, now with the glaze medium and a bit of water, it comes on kind of translucent. So now we're able to kind of add some shadows without completely ruining everything we've worked on so far. Allegedly. I mean, there's always a chance to ruin everything. Yeah. Elf magic, bear magic. It's because no one would use these guys if they had 5 range. Maybe, I don't know. 7 range is pretty spicy in the AoE meta. Yeah, Savaris is always coming clutch for me. That Nebraska tournament I was talking about, I was up against Ryguy, and I mean, down short of it is Ryguy is a better player than me. Like, he knows what he's doing. But Savaris was just popping off. He was rolling. He had height, so he was rolling 4 skulls repeatedly back to back. So I just sniped his whole army before he even had a chance to get close to me. Sometimes dice just favors you, and that's okay. Savaris 2.0 elf with a sniper rifle. He can shoot 12 spaces away. I actually kicked around some concepts for. That's probably going to be my next concept pitch video. Is I have 2 I'm kicking around I want to do next. Is my historicals I would love to see. And the next is like 2.0s I'd love to see. And I think it'd be really cool to have Savaris 2.0, but like he's bandaged, he has like an eye patch. His arrogance has kind of gotten the best of him. Like he's been wounded in battle, because a lot of times we see these 2.0s and they're kind of like better versions of themselves. I thought it'd be interesting to see Savaris lose his arrogance, become kind of like a wiser version of himself because of how just how good he thought he was. So he's wounded, he has an eye patch or something like that. Instead of like being able to shoot as far, he can shoot almost just unerringly. Like he can just shoot a target, and then at the end of the round, as if that target's still within range of Savaris, they take a wound. Kind of like a timed, like he's replaced his arrogance with precision and skill, and a bit of wisdom to accompany it. So at the end of the round, you choose a figure, and that figure receives a wound automatically. Type of deal, like something really, really cool, like a time shot, which hasn't existed before. And I think it's a cool story element, because I think Savaris as is almost the perfect. I think he's perfectly costed. He's almost received no updates in Delta. He's just good for what he does. Ooh, a battle veteran Savaris would be fantastic. Yeah, I think it'd be cool to advance a story in some different ways besides the dragon gets bigger. Drake gets a jetpack. Like, what happens? What happens when someone has been fighting for so long and they don't always win? I love to see Savaris, I love to see Kamoshi, and I love to see Agent Carr. Those are like the big three, I'd say. Could definitely, I think, use a place in the story and the meta and the lineup. Happy birthday. Well, thank you. Thank you for swinging by. I hope we're just painting up some Ordo today. And just kind of getting. So if you notice, I'm kind of going back and just touching up some things. I wasn't liking the direction I was going. I felt like it was a little bit too choppy. So I kind of darkened the whole model. And now I'm kind of building back up some of these colors, but with a bit more shadow and shading, kind of providing that necessary contrast for it. It feels a bit more richer now, a little bit less blocky. And there we go. So we're just kind of, like I said, this is kind of a never-ending. Once you really commit to doing highlights, it's kind of you can be doing this for a while. You could you could be working on the same highlight for hours. So that's why I don't do it too much with like common squads, just because you want to get those things done on the table. You know, I don't use that much speed paints, but you know, once those Tanukis are on the table, I'm going to be trying to pop them out as fast as I can. I think I have like 4 or 5 boxes I have to get through, so yeah, I'll definitely be doing a less careful manner of painting. Missed it, yeah. So yeah, people keep on asking. So this is the Flanix. It's more just in the background, teasing me to paint it. It's not fully finished yet, but we use some Turbo Dork color shifts on it to really give it like a dynamic feel, with some orange as a nice contrast. I felt like the orange contrasted this color a bit. Still have to work on the highlights and building up orange, which is naturally a thin layer. Yeah, the Flanix has been super popular. You know what? I need a break from these bears. I'm not feeling it anymore, so I am going to work on the Flanix due to popular request here for a little bit more. I think I got a little bit more steam in me. Getting stuff done, so. Just need to find what paint I was using. I was trying some of Pro Krill's or Monument's new line, their amp colors, to see how I like them. They're very unique paint. But let me see if I can find it where I put it at. I cleaned up, and of course by clean up, I don't know where it is anymore. Oh, I'm gonna take a quick couple-minute break, stretch my back, and I will be right back. His eye have returned. Alright, so we got some of these amp colors. This is red orange. I have a lot of paints. You, of course, don't need as many paints as I have. You can always just mix paints and get the colors. But I just like having paints just to have a bit of authority and to test them out. Alright. I want to go small. Yeah, let's go small. Due to due to popular mention, we're gonna start working on this thing a bit here. Adding some more layers to the respective legs. Like I said, I'm not caring about getting anything done. I'm just doing what I want to do today. Alright. And we're just going through and kind of applying a good thin layer to these. Trying to reserve these details. So the best way to approach this bug is to just pretend you are painting 12 bugs. This is not an individual unit. This is 12 individual units stacked on top of each other. That's the best way to approach this, just because there are so many segments, so many parts, you just got to kind of break it up. My lag rope Dragoon, by the way. Do you think the rest of the bugs would look good in the Morrow scheme, or not flashy enough sculpts, in your opinion? This is... Yeah, I don't know if they would all look really good. Like, Morrow work really well when you have... Yeah, I have some here. Like, you have deep lines and texture. So the nag rope works because it has... The model itself has a lot of kind of deep texture around the Dragoon. You, of course, can try it, but there's just not enough fleshy bits to really sell that effect. It would all be kind of... unless you totally, I think, committed to the not having like a green shell, and just make it all flesh colored. Let's see, do I have any of the smaller bugs nearby? It might. I think it would take a little bit of work. The bugs are honestly a bit hard to manage just because they're kind of so small and have so many legs and teeth. The Dragoon works because it's very wide and spread out. There's a lot of room for the washes and the tones to kind of settle in. But I mean, you can always give it a try. If I had another set, I would try it out for you. But let's see, do I have any nearby? Where are all my bugs? Because I could work on those too. But yeah, I think it might work, but I think most of them would just have like that green nagrub shell if you went for that, and then the Morrow flesh would be kind of just on the underside, which I still think might work, but it would be less of a strong effect. Yeah, the Dragoon nagrub though really fits perfectly. It's honestly, I would have liked it lore-wise if it was just writing a giant nagrub. I like when things kind of advance and develop in the story. Yeah, if you painted this whole thing as a Morrow, I think it would be tough to sell because there's so little space for that wash to settle in. Like, it would kind of get... This is a tough model to work with in that regard. You might have better luck with, I think, the Festering Honor Guard, though. Have I any painted big figures like Texas Tiamat? I have. I don't do it too often. I don't have it nearby. I'm still kind of working on it, but maybe I can go grab it real fast. nothing big, just because I haven't bothered to print it out. This is from like Steamforge Games. This is the Red Dragon for their Epic Encounters. This is still being developed. It's not finished yet, but I've been working on this off and on throughout the months, and been doing some airbrush testing on it and detail work. But it's got like, I think 10% more to go before this thing's finished. But it's a fun model, but nothing really much bigger than that. I have some files for like oh, I play D&D all the time. What's it called? I'm just blanking. What's the biggest monster there is? Why? Man, I'm losing my nerd card. Not Tiamat. Man, this is embarrassing. It's the big Godzilla-like creature. Why can I not remember its name? This is embarrassing for me. This is where my brain sets. It's the CR30 creature that can insta-kill. Why can I not remember its name? You all know what I'm talking about if you play D&D. It's the Tarrasque. Why can't I remember the name of Tarrasque? I just was blanking. I have some files for Tarrasque that I had some of this stuff kind of lined up to paint, and then Heroscape got released, and those got pushed to the far back burner. Polar Worm. No, I had some I painted. I had a really big one I painted, but I sold that one. Problem is, like, a lot of the bigger stuff I kind of sell, so I don't have that on hand. But a main for the dragon? I'm thinking about it. I kind of like how it's simple, but I also think it could have a little bit more, maybe on the underside. The problem is it doesn't disconnect from the base, so I'm back and forth on it. But I don't showcase that stuff off too much, just because I don't know why I don't. I should probably do that, branch out a bit more. Mainly it's just the cost for those big figures. I have a really nice big printer now, so I probably should print something really big. And Rimraz. Ah, yes. That's you have no idea how embarrassing. I play like I've written my own homebrew world for D&D. It's with that. I know a lot about it. That's basic D&D knowledge. I just couldn't remember the name. That was embarrassing. I actually started playing D&D because of Heroscape, because I was like, what are all these figures referencing? I kind of wanted to know, so I think that was their intention. These guys look like they got into the Cheeto bag, and main to the dragon. I'm thinking about it now. Generally speaking, do I prefer bigger models or smaller models? Bigger models are so much fun. Like dragons are the most fun thing to paint out there, just because you get to do broader strokes. You don't have to spend all your time doing detail work, and it's always like you can paint eyes, you can paint effects a lot more easy. And it always like catches the eyes, like, oh, here's this giant dragon I painted, compared to here's this gnome I painted in exquisite detail, but you can't see any of it because it's half an inch tall. Ran a campaign where the main nemesis was defeating new creatures. Oh, that's interesting. I'm currently running a homebrew Wild West campaign, Weird West campaign. So I made subclasses for all the classes, and have the appropriate 120 pages of lore, and made some custom species. Yeah, I developed it for about 2 years. While I was doing Icewind Dale, which is like a pre-written campaign. It's on its fourth session now. It's going pretty well. I have a good group of people I play with. My sister, who does the art, she's currently playing a. It's called a Verdant. I guess it's my homebrew version of a D&D Leshy, I guess, but it's a giant cactus person. So it's has some fun abilities there, and yeah, it's a good group of people. It's an entire sandbox campaign, so I have to be I have to be prepared for anything. Ran a campaign with the nemesis, like a mix of a lizard king combined with 4 armed. Oh, like he like crafted the monsters from other like fusion, like fusions type stuff. That's really cool. See, my least favorite thing to do when I run a campaign is make monster stat blocks, which I feel like that has in it. Really a cool homebrew. Had to take a ton of work. It did, yeah. Thankfully, I have a job where I drive around a lot, or actually ride around a lot, so I had time to do it. But it was fun. I used to write a lot more than I do now. I just don't really have the time or mental energy to do so. But I still enjoy it every now and then. So many legs. Every time I think I got one, I find another I have to do. Your campaign was based on one question: would the players risk their characters for NPC? Yeah, that's a dangerous question to ask. I know mine maybe would, but I've also had parties where they would just kill the NPC, save themselves instantly. Yeah, I have to. Like I'm definitely not big into like the DM is against the players. It's all about everyone having fun time. But I am by nature a bit mischievous and a bit devious. Just because I have some really smart players. Like I like they're not like rules lawyers. They're like rule knowers, which I think is a really great thing to have in a party. I'm like, wait, how does falling damage work? And then they just can tell me. I'm like, oh yeah, thank you. Or what's the standing jump height of this creature? They have all those those. I'm not good at math. I'm good at more story than math. So my favorite is, like trick to play is, you have a room with just a boot with a bloody stump of a leg in it, and there's 8 chests in there, and there's a handwritten note that stops halfway talking about how they want to get the treasure. Of course, the players suspect mimics, so they avoid the chest. The chests are all filled with valuable treasure, and then they can either destroy the chest or kick around or just avoid them, and the mimic is actually at the door. That's a it's a fun setup to play. The question is, did they risk their characters for an NPC, or did it go haywire? getting there, getting some sharper colors amidst all these legs. Yes to both questions. I have a bunch of miniatures just as is. Let's see if I can zoom out the camera a bit. So I have shelves behind me, more over here of just miniatures. But I also just use Heroscape miniatures and my companions and all that stuff. So yes to both. I just like miniatures. Honestly, I have always had just a loving having little guys hanging around. So there's some good stuff. Like I always use like Raylan for the Azamar, and the Vipers are always for Yuan-Ti. So I use the pieces, and I use the terrain a lot too. I build pretty cool maps with it all. I have like 6 or 7 castle sets that I've just picked up over the years. So I'm able to build some pretty cool. Because even like terrain systems like warlock tiles and stuff like that, they don't really have good answers for elevation. I think they just released some stuff where you can build it up, but it's not as cool as the castle. So yeah, I've used, but I also have a printer, so I print the characters' figures from Hero Forge and stuff like that, and you know, I like the big baddie monsters, and you never know when VC is going to turn one of them to an actual actual unit you can use. So it's nice to have some on hand. But I have a lot of the like big things. I have like the Kraken. I have the colossal red dragon, which is like the pride of my collection. I think it's the 4E or 3.5E, you know, dragon that's like this big. I found that for a good deal a while back. Someone was selling it for pretty cheap, comparatively. So I always keep that behind me when I play, just to let the players know anything can happen, you know. And if I'm really feeling ornery, sometimes I just take it down from the shelf and just to just to get some sweat going. Let's see it. All right, make me get up again, man. Bye, James. Thanks for joining the stream. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, I like this thing a lot. This is you know, how you express your DM authority here. Have a favorite Heroscape general? I'm an Olar fanboy. I like green, so I think it goes. Olar is my favorite. I like the Vipers. I like the Elves. Even though they aren't really good per se, I just like the aesthetic. Then I like Einar because I like the historicals. I think those are all really cool. Then after Einar is, I have to say Valeric after that one. Just because, again, green is nice. And then after Valeric is probably Jandar. Jandar's okay. It's like, you know, it's your basic general. Nothing too exciting. Then, actually, I like Aquila less than Jandar, I'd say. Everyone loves Aquila, and I don't know. I like her units more than the general theme and design. I just don't know enough about her as a general to, like, know if I like her or not. Like, she's just all over the place in terms of, like, units. Like you have bugs and dwarves and giant space wizard dragons. It's just kind of hard to kind of keep up with her theme and aesthetic. And then Utgar, and then Vidar. And then Valeric is kind of, if VC is included, then Valeric is probably above Utgar. It's bigger than the Star Trek board crew, my friend. Yeah, it's a big one. I had to remodel my whole garage to house that, and my whole Heroscape. It's I have too much, but I can't stop getting it. I have problems. Just working through, adding several layers to these legs. Yeah, we could use some more dwarf supports. The X-Grinders are great, but I think they could have turned into a whole sub-faction like elves are. Or Morrow are. Like, there's a lot you can do with with dwarves. I love for every general to have a cavalry unit. I think we're in desperate need for some samurai cavalry. It would go so hard. But also I would wouldn't mind, there's tons of stuff you could do for Einar. Like, you could have... my pitch for Einar cavalry would be, new units, like a Mongolian faction with, Genghis Khan and, their pony riders would be really cool. But also samurai archers on horses is just kind of classic, too. You can't, deny that. Killa can get the orcs on... why do I keep on going to orcs? Dwarves on bears, or boars, or whatever. Jandar, I actually would love, an addition to the fourth mass, kind of cavalry for the Revolutionary War would be really cool. But I also wouldn't mind, Omnicron cavalry, which I think would be a fun design space. I guess we already have the knights, so they already have cavalry, so they don't need it. But and Vidar needs a squad of motorcycle riding cyber agents. Would be so cool. Dwarven crossbowmen, dwarven rogar, dwarf king, dwarf hunter, dwarven... they had a whole... That's a whole lot. I just knew about the dwarven bears. Ooh, kill Native Americans on horseback with rifles. That would be pretty cool. Some Apache warriors. Or some Kyrie riding bugs I'd also be fine with. Some bug riders. Be kind of unique. But I do want more Native Americans added. Yeah, the Tron bikes essentially. Yeah, that'd be great. Tron, the Disney remake of Tron is a movie. This is just tangential, but it's a movie I love falling asleep to, which sounds like a diss, but the soundtrack and the vibes of that movie just really put me in a good sleeping state, and it kind of gives you some weird, just cozy dreams. At least it does to me when I fall asleep to it. There's some movies I just like to fall asleep to in the background. Okay, I think that's pretty good for now. I missed a spot. Yeah, orange is a very thin color, so we're applying multiple coats to all the legs. which is a bit time consuming. Tron Uprising was great, consciously optimistic for Ares. I've never seen Uprising. I just saw whatever the first one they made was. Or Dwarf Squad, that could be Dwarf Throne. Actually, I would love some kind of unit that was like a goblin launcher. Like, imagine Krug with like a goblin cannon that just shot goblins across the map. It would be really, really fun. Let's see here. Alright, so I have some of this ancient stone. We're going to buff up some of these teeth here. I want to go a bit brighter. This might be the same. Yeah, worn stone is slightly brighter than ancient stone. It's one of those descriptive terms. Uprising, Dawn, New Age. It feels like all those movies nowadays have the same subheading. And we are just carefully lighting in each tooth here. Always got to go. Thanks for entertaining the request to show off some of your minis. Thank you so much. Yeah, thanks so much for chatting, and always happy to show off the random stuff I have. Thank you. Alright. I think I might be running out of steam here pretty soon. Have you ever painted a gelatinous cube? Have I? I don't have one on hand. A while ago, I did use just some like speed paints over like a clear painted one, but it was kind of like a kit I ordered off of Etsy. They had like a little LED light underneath it, so it was pretty cool. It's no longer B-Day where I live. See, that's the trick. Is actually tomorrow's my B-Day, so today is actually. I'm just pretending because I'm busy tomorrow. It's my birthday celebration, so it's actually now officially my birthday. What time even is it? It's 11:16. Oh yeah, my time. I've been doing this for a good while here. I haven't even noticed. Teeth are kind of sometimes a pain to paint if you're not focused on them. Just because you have to go where the light catches and then kind of fill that in. The key to good teeth is employing that separation between the tooth and the gums. This is kind of where teeth kind of shape. Like, if I just paint this all one color, there's no separation. It looks kind of blobby. So you have to have the kind of that darker color and slowly build up without getting it in that crack and crevice. You of course can just like paint it white and do speed paint over this. Is a good method as well. just going to go through, darken some of these mouths, and use that blue-black we have. It just kind of... separate out a bit. Need a drop taking part in Sword Championship. Happy B-Day, Heroscaper. Alright, Bill, thanks so much for joining. Pleasant talking to you. Good luck in the championship. Hexhala, welcome. Thank you. My it's nice even on my birthday my nemesis can come in and say hi. I don't know how I can sustain this, Hexhala. I genuinely like you guys, so it's hard to be the villain to you all. Hope you're all doing well. Alright. So many teeth. So little time. Yeah, this part had a printing error. It was completely flat, so I just had to sketch this teeth out here. Alright. This is the most unique model out there. You definitely want to use a brush with a really good tip on this, on these guys. I kind of want to add, I don't know, a tertiary color to these, but I don't know what yet. I was thinking maybe some red glowing dots on the shells, but that just sounds like a lot of work. Yeah. This thing is a work in progress here. There's just too many legs. And because I really hate myself, I'm trying to go through and add some detail to these little spikes here. Yeah, I guess so. Of course, I could just be luring you into a false sense of security, but I showed my wife the clip of me opening Q11, and she says I have to have her on the next stream, so I don't let that happen again. Apparently, I open packages in the most chaotic manner possible. This is what my comment said. There is just so much things on this guy. I'm doing this guy a little bit at a time. I don't know if I'll ever make a tutorial on this guy. But I do like these little white dots. It helps break it up a bit. This is just like the way you open it. Rowan was screaming. There was tape and a tab. Yeah, yeah. I wish I could say I was better in my normal life. That was just me doing a bit, but that's how I really am. I get so excited opening packages. I, I, I let my natural instincts take over. Um, like every time I get an Amazon package, I just open it up in the most ridiculous way possible, and it's usually like something we have to like take back, and my wife gets mad at me. Although I may be turning 30, I am really just a 6-year-old. I've never really stopped. Bookball is getting there. I like the Turbo Dork effect. This is kind of a model I was testing with. It's really cool, but it is hard if you have like other colors on a model that aren't it, because it's a bit hard to kind of get that back up. Everywhere I mispaint, I have to go through with black, layer it over, and then apply the Turbo Dork as a layer over. So it's a bit harder for something like this. Honestly, where there's lots of room for misclicks. But I wanted to try something different with it. Getting there. Let's see what I do. I want to add a secondary color to all these legs. I probably do. I probably want to buff it up just a little bit. That might be. I'll hold off on you for a bit. I got some stuff done. This is kind of my casual painting thing here. I think I am going to call it, I guess. Yeah. I was going to be like, I could hold off to my actual birthday. But it's, you know what? As someone said, it's midnight somewhere. So I think I'm going to call it for today. I'm running out of things to talk about. I'm just muttering to myself. So I always think that's a good time to sign off. Of course, I mutter to myself pretty frequently. So, you know, that's why sometimes my streams are short. I thank you everyone who watched. Definitely had a great time hanging out with you all, talking about myriad of things. Wish me luck on my tournaments. I'll be going to some in Manhattan tomorrow, maybe Wichita the following weekend. And stay tuned for some more con news. Definitely will be trying to give some coverage of the upcoming stuff, which I'm going to. It's a fun time to, you know, it's kind of like Escape kind of goes on these little break periods and then kind of wakes up in full force. So it is a fun time to be a fan of it. Sometimes I let the intrusive thoughts win all the time. That is my that's my go-to. At this point, they're not even intrusive. They're just kind of just hanging around with a room key. But yeah, definitely looking forward to covering all that stuff more, and yeah, happy birthday to me, I guess. Yeah, no, it's been a really fun time. Been a bit busy with all the painting stuff, so video output will be a bit slower, but I do have some stuff I'm cooking up, and once I find the motivation and time to edit, it shall be fully released. So stay on the lookout for some more stuff. Yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah, nothing else to report here. I mean, I wish I had some big reveal to close the stream off or something, but I know like just teeing that up makes it seem like I do have something, but really I'm just finding a way to close out the stream in the most awkward way possible as I clean up. So thank you all. Take care, and you know what? You all keep on escaping on. Bye. 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 No, push the button.